Badass Steph's pan. That's beat to shit. I mean, look, look at this. Look at the freaking block. So this is a high flow water pump. These are some bad bitches. Oh yeah. So as you can see, Birder's starting to pull his engine apart. Man, I mean, it busted the block everywhere. Look at that. There is so much carnage. And the weird thing is it didn't even sound like it, did it? It was just like, and that was it.
I think it took a chunk out of every cylinder.
Yeah.
It looks like it. Except for that one.
Yeah, maybe not this one.
Chunk out of that one. It took the whole skirt off of this one.
All right, well, with that being said, the cam looks pretty good. It's got a little bit of damage, some little nicks on the corners and edges and things like that, but it's not bad at all. And for a roller setup, it'd be perfectly fine to reuse. So I think your dad's getting this cam right.
Yeah, if he wants it.
Here's the bad thing about this. Whenever you scatter one like this, you get shavings and micro particles everywhere. I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of times I say save shit. I would probably not even reuse the lifters, to be honest with you. Anything that had oil passing through it, I probably wouldn't use any of that. Although they're more than likely fine, you could clean them out, I wouldn't risk it.
It ain't worth it.
No, I mean, if you're on an extreme budget, you can pull those things apart and you can clean them out with gas or brake cleaner and you can blow them out. We've still not even taken this thing out of the wrapper yet. But I mean, it just looks like an engine, but it's got some pretty pistons. Ooh, that's nice.
Took a chunk out of that one.
Yeah, it did. Damn, boy, it beat the shit out of this motor. I guess that's what 20 pounds of boost will do when one comes apart. I mean, look, look at this. Look at this freaking block. Well, some of those are going to be a pain to get off because the damn nuts and everything are completely shot.
The one piston's gone.
Yeah, I don't know where it went. It left the chat. He's going to work on this tonight. We don't really have a lot going on the channel at the moment, as you can see, so we're just going to kind of talk tonight, hang out a little bit while he does this. We're waiting on wheels and tires for the truck. I have been working tons of overtime. He's been working tons of overtime. We only have a couple of days off here and there, so there's not much we can do right now, but trust me, we are chomping at the bit, all of us, to get back after it. Y'all, as much as I want to do an FE build and I really want to do one, I don't know if we're going to be able to pull that off in the manner that I want to, because that's a 360, which doesn't matter, 390, 360, 352, whatever. But I want to go 445 stroker. I've already looked at the kits, like 11.3 to 1, cam somewhere around like a 630 lift, like 250 at 50 duration roughly. Victor Jr. intake, Pro Max heads, all the stuff. Should be a 600 horsepower NA build. The stuff for the FE is not necessarily any more expensive. It's really not. But you gotta buy a retrofit roller conversion kit for the cam, right? So that's expensive for anything that you're doing it to. That's a lot of money. The stroker kit's the same pretty much as anything else that you're gonna buy. The head's about the same for something that flows like that. So it's really not gonna cost a whole lot more. It's just a lot of money, because we're gonna start from a bare block. If we do this, I'm not gonna use the one that's in Pop's truck right now. I wanna keep driving it, you know? So I think we've got a 390 over at Papa T's house, and we'll just take that thing and build it from scratch, essentially. So if you guys don't know, like, what are we talking about here? Maybe you missed the last video. We're talking about possibly raffling off the poop coupe, possibly. So I want you guys to know, that I talked to Edgar. He was the one that gave me a lot of parts, like the majority of the parts for this car, Edgar gave me. So I called up Edgar and I'm like, hey, look, man, are you cool with this? Because I'm thinking about doing it, but I don't want to step on any toes. And, you know, I really appreciate you giving me all this. And you know, how do you feel about it? He was like, I don't give a shit. If it helps the channel, it helps the channel. So I think for the most part, everybody's going to be cool with it as long as the channel benefits from it. Here's the big question. This is something that me and Berger have been talking about. I'm just gonna go ahead and put the number out and I want you guys to tell me, am I too far out in left field with this? I'm thinking around 8,000 for the poop coupe. I think that's the number. And here's why. You gotta think of this as more of like, I'm trying to raise money for the channel to do something. I've never really done this before. This is gonna be an extremely expensive build. So I figure, you know, about 8,000 for the car. Is it worth that? Nope, it's not. It's 100% not worth that. It's worth 3,500 because it does have a pretty much brand spanking new Z-Spec T5 bell housing, clutch. It's got a Mega Squirt in it, computer that sucks because I've had that thing forever, so I'll lose it if it goes. It's got a pretty much brand new ATM carburetor. You know, it's a nice little setup. Oh, and it's got like a $600, what is that, Unisteer steering rack in it. Manual steering rack. So it's a, you know, poop coupe's got some stuff. It's got 14 gears in the back. It's got a fuel cell, but it's the poop coupe. It's not a perfect car by any stretch of the imagination, but it could be. Also, I have some interior panels that can go with it as well that we just haven't put in. So with all that being said, what do you guys think? Do you think that's too much? Do you think that's being greedy? I don't want to be greedy, okay? I'm trying to generate some money so we can build something else. If we do this, if we do it. So I'm thinking 80 bucks a slot at 100 slots. You guys tell me what you think and we'll just kind of go from there. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. It's not about that. Dude, I don't think I've ever scattered one like this. I know I hadn't actually.
Yeah, you did.
No, no, you scattered this one.
No.
Dude, you remember we were going to get hamburger buns that night and you were just like, let me hit it. I was like, dude, you probably shouldn't because we didn't set the rev limiter yet. Yes. And you just had to. Then you made up some excuse about the floor mat sticking. The sad thing about it is we've sat down and we've talked about it. All we had to do was bump the rev limiter down because we had the rev limiter at like 72, something like that. It did not need to be up there with such a tight quench. And then whenever the throttle stuck, it went haywire. So it sucks. It really sucks that it happened that way because this was a good running little engine, but it is what it is, y'all. Dude, I did not expect it to be as bad as what that is. That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible. You really messed that one up. So here is the inside of Berger's car. He's got his column back in now. So ooh, we can steer the car finally. Finally. So you're gonna get this pulled apart. Are you gonna go ahead and get the other one on the stand and piece it together or what? I mean, like next step, I guess, is where I'm going.
That's gonna be next. I don't know if it'll happen tonight, but
yeah,
that's next for sure. Get it together because I got to get it together and then still got to measure push rod length. So that's gonna be a stopping point, right?
That's true. Yeah, we need to go ahead and do that as well.
And then at that point, can really start dropping everything at the brake. Still need to finish up the routing.
Oh yeah. So we it doesn't look like we've done a whole lot here, but everything is in place. It's been bench bled. It's gonna look really nice. We just got some touching up we got to do on some of the paint where we moved a bunch of the stuff around, then it got brake fluid on it and shit like that. So I'm so fast. Oh, it was you? That looks like something a chick would write. See, our off days are split up. That's the problem. His off days are completely opposite of my off days. So when he's out here working on the car, I got to go to work. So that's why we're not doing as much. I know it looks like we slacked off. It's not that. We just don't have the time. He's got everything apart. And as you can see, pretty much every rod is bent. Every one. That's bad.
I'm missing one.
Yeah, missing a rod. We don't know where it went. It just disintegrated.
It's gone.
Yeah, the rod and piston were completely gone. But he's talking about using this block as like a table or something at some point. For right now, we'll probably just store this thing. But if he ever gets around to it, make a cool coffee table. Like we said before now on this, you don't want to try to keep any parts if you can help it. you wouldn't use any of that obviously, except for maybe the camshaft. But you know, things like your cam retainer, I wouldn't use the timing chain either, just simply because it's been under so much stress. The Spider is still good, and the dog bones are good. Harmonic balancer, you know, front cover. It's kind of a good time to talk about this because at some point most of us are going to scatter an engine, and we can't always go out and buy all new stuff, right? So you need to kind of know the things that you can keep and the things that you can't. My rule of thumb is anything that oil passes through, probably not a good idea to keep, and if you do keep it, please disassemble it, blow it out, you know, do whatever you can do. Oil pump is absolutely a no-go, so don't even try to use that. But what you can use is your pickup tube, and yes, it's going to have a bunch of crap and gunk and everything else in it, but all you got to do is just wash that thing out and reuse it. Oil pump drive shaft would probably be fine. Also, push rods. Push rods, if they're not bent, those would be good to reuse as well. You can just kind of blow those out, run some brake cleaner through them, something like that. I saw one comment, and I know other people are probably thinking the same thing as well. Why go 430s? So here's the deal with the 430s. All right, this new engine over here is going to be capable of, let's just be realistic, 7,300 RPM. Point is, it's going to be a fairly high revving engine. You can get away with a 430 gear with a high revving engine. That's what gives you your top speed, your mile an hour. It's literally rear gear or total gear versus RPM. Also, on top of that, if he goes with a 28-inch tall tire, it's going to effectively raise his gear, lower it, ever how you want to say it. The number's going to go down. So if he's got 430s, he puts 28-inch tall tires on it. He's essentially got a 410 gear, 401, whatever. So a 410 gear would be absolutely perfect for this build, which is originally what we were going to do. But when he decided to go to 28-inch tall tires, we had to go up in the gear. So these are things that you have to think about. Why did he go 28-inch tall tire? I know probably some of you are wondering, what's the reason? Well, you got more sidewall. The car tends to hook a little better. With that being said, there's a trade-off there. They tend to get a little squirrely on out there. So you need some good suspension in a way, in my opinion, to run 28s and a roll, yeah, things like that. You need this car to be planted in pretty stable, good shocks. You can run 28s on anything, but it's really nice on a car that has good suspension. Let's look back here at the Calypso. The Calypso has 26s, and you can see it doesn't really fill out the fender well. Well, we had 28s on it, and they tuck. They're up in here. Understand that on a 10-inch wide wheel, you got to beat the hell out of the inner fender well, and you need to roll your fender lip before you go 28s and try to tuck it. Now, if you're going to let the car sit up on top of the tire, then you're good. No issue there. So those were radials that I had, but you got a 373 in a car, and that's just the right amount of gear, and then you go put 28s on it, you got basically like a 355 at that point. Actually less. Yeah, y'all want to see some of the parts that he's got back here? So this is just a snippet of some of the stuff that he's got. Badass Steph's pan. Guys, this is a really good pan. If you ever wonder, good God, that thing's heavy. If you ever wonder why these oil pans cost so much money, it's because of things like this right here. All these different baffles.
Got like a trap door.
Yeah, and look at how thick that pan is. That's a badass pan, dude.
Yeah, it's got the returns for when I go YSI.
Yep, and actually we did on both sides, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yep. So did the return on, because we wasn't sure, you know, whether the blower was going to go on this side or that side, so they just went ahead and did this for you. Guys, these pans are expensive. They're not a necessity. Now, you don't have to have them, but really good pan if you're going to be making high horsepower and high RPM. Ooh, those are nice. Rail lifters. We're not going to pull those out, but those are super nice right there. So we got a little something in there we can't show y'all just yet, but in time. So I guess that's oil pump drive shaft.
Yeah, that's either that or the prime drive shaft.
Yeah, it feels a little heavy. And this is stuff from Anderson as well that we got to get into. So there again, you notice the connection's a little different right here. There's a reason for that. Is the rest of that stuff in here too?
I took it out.
Oh, took it out. All right, so there's some stuff in here that we're not trying to keep secrets from you guys, but there's some stuff that we are not at liberty to show you just yet. That's water pump and bolts.
High flow water pump.
Oh, there's your drive shaft. That's what I'm talking about, a good beefy drive shaft. But stuff like that though, you gotta You gotta treat yourself. You know, you go so long without treating yourself. It's about time, right?
Yeah.
Plenty of Loctite, he's ready. So this is a high flow water pump. We decided to go this route. I suggest any of you guys that are turbo or supercharged, really what he's trying to do especially, you need a good water pump that's gonna flow some CFM. So we'll talk about all this stuff in more detail as it goes together. That's just what you need. Drop one of those. Here's the star of the show. These are the new heads. Now he needed these over the high ports that he had. Now the high ports would have definitely worked, but it's all about CFM, guys. You need to know the CFM that your heads flow if you're into it and you're trying to push the limits. We know these heads flow over 300 CFM. On a motor with enough compression and enough cam in the right setup, that motor would be capable of over 600, 700 horsepower NA. Now that's not what we're trying to achieve here. It's not gonna have super high compression and it's not gonna have the biggest cam, so we know that. But it absolutely should be in the high fives to teetering right around that 600 mark NA. And it's gonna take heads like this to do it. These are some bad bitches. AFR 220s. They're an inline head, which is something else that you have to take note of when you're ordering heads and pistons and stuff. Look at that. You need to know if they're inline or if they're a canted, twisted wedge head. Originally, we were gonna do the TrickFlow 11R 227s, but his pistons, what he's got right now, it's best just to go with an inline head. He'd had to change his pistons. And these have already been set up. These are not just box stock. This setup come from Anderson, and the valve springs were put on to match the cam and everything else. So they have been gone through, they're not just box stock. I'm gonna be honest with you, for most of you guys, box stock's fine, okay? Don't get too caught up in all these internet posts that you see and everybody says, you've got to disassemble your heads and send them off, and it's a good idea. I'm not gonna knock those guys too much. It is a good idea always to pull these heads apart, clean them up. But if you don't know what the hell you're doing, you better not do that. And most of your cams under 600 lift and things like that, your springs that come on these heads, especially a company like AFR, TrickFlow, Brodix, something like that, you're usually gonna be fine. They'll also tell you whenever you're purchasing your heads what the max lift is good for. We're gonna get into a lot more detail once we start putting this engine together. We'll try to give you guys some tips and some tricks and share a little bit of the knowledge that we've got. We're not engine builders by any stretch of the imagination, but I've put together quite a few. Berger's been a part of it too as well. So we'll help you guys out when it comes to deciding kind of what you need and stuff like that. But anyway, as you can see, this is just a drop in the bucket as to the parts that he's got at home already. So guys, there's parts everywhere for this thing. It's gonna be a fun build. We're about to get this thing cranked off and start putting the motor together, or at least the top end anyway. With all that being said, this has been going on long enough. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and as always,
Thanks for watching.